Ousted BP Chairman Albert Manifold has pushed back against what he says is a, quote, false narrative regarding his departure from the energy supermajor. The company unexpectedly fired Manifold after 8 months in the job, citing serious concerns related to governance standards, oversight and conduct. To learn more, we're joined by Bloomberg big oil reporter Mitchell Ferman. Mitchell, what do we know about BP's decision to fire Manifold? Because he wasn't there very long. I believe he's only been there since October of last year.
That's right. BP's senior independent director, Amanda Blanc, who's Aviva's CEO, said that the board learned of oversight and misconduct that they deemed unacceptable. Manifold, later in the day, yesterday, responded, saying that he disputes entirely the characterizations and that he will not allow a false narrative to proceed. And BP is yet to respond to Manifold's reaction.
Is the understanding, or should investors take from this that ultimately BP is ungovernable, at least at this stage, or that there's a clearing of the decks and that Meg O'Neill now has more space to execute her agenda?
This definitely consolidates authority to Meg O'Neill. But she's only been in the job for about 8 weeks, and there's still a lot of questions about her path forward. She was hired by Manifold, after all, back in December, and assuming that they were on a similar page at that point, right? And so there are a lot of questions unanswered by BP and the board about exactly where the dissonance is here.
What is going to be the focus for Meg O'Neill? And again, Tom and I were speaking about this earlier. I mean, she has benefited from the tailwind now of higher energy prices, and we saw that in the earnings. And actually, BP stock this year has been doing okay. What should be the focus as we look ahead? Yeah,
BP's focus will be on oil and gas after its failed low-carbon bets of recent years. How BP ends up really focusing on oil and gas and differentiating itself from its peers, such as ExxonMobil, Chevron, Shell, TotalEnergies, that remains to be seen, because all of those companies are also largely focused on oil and gas. So BP is kind of yet to define its path among its peers.
Mitchell, help me understand something, because the assumed reporting around this is that this was a failed strategy, renewables. We're living through clearly a climate crisis. We're feeling that right now here in the UK. And we're feeling the supply chain challenges of Ukraine, of the Straits of Hormuz, the need to build out more renewables. How is that a failed strategy for BP?
BP lost a lot of money and they lost a lot of value. Are they going to have to
revisit, though, this at some point in the future?
This is a concern that some investors had last year when BP initially announced it was resetting its strategic direction back to focusing on oil and gas. Some investors understood the strategy as a short-term cash machine, but their questions were more about the medium and long term. How does that give them a bridge to the future?